Choosing a new association management system, or AMS, can be a total headache, right? It feels like navigating a maze. Today, we're going to shine a light on a newer player that's been making some serious waves, Element AMS. We're going to break down exactly what you, as an executive, need to know to make a really smart decision.
Hey there, I'm your host. I'm a digital marketing associate with SmartThoughts. We're a software advisement firm, and our whole job is helping associations and nonprofits just like yours make clear, confident technology decisions. And today, we're putting Element AMS under the microscope. So let's get right to it. The big question on your mind is probably this: is Element AMS the right move for your association's future? Well, to help you figure that out, we're going to dive into its biggest strengths, the really critical trade-offs you have to think about, and most importantly, the key questions you've got to ask yourself. So let's kick things off with, who exactly are they?
All right, first things first, who is Element AMS? Now, you might see them as a new kid on the block, but trust me, their background is anything but new. So, Element AMS is a Salesforce-native system. And this is interesting. It was built by a team with some serious experience in the association world. We're talking about folks led by Vishal L.A. Shah, who was a top technical leader at Fonteva, one of their biggest competitors. That kind of insider knowledge, it completely shapes their strategy. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They are laser-focused on mid-size associations, those with operating budgets over about $2.5 million.
Okay, let's talk about a key technical detail that actually has a huge impact on your wallet: their licensing model. Element is what's called an ISV, or independent software vendor. What that really means for you is that you pay for your standard Salesforce licenses, and hey, if you're a nonprofit, you can often get 10 of those for free. And then you pay for the Element license on top. Now, this is different from the OEM model that some competitors use, which can get, kind of messy with the pricing. Honestly, understanding this difference is absolutely crucial when you're looking at your budget. So all that tech stuff is great, but how does it actually help you run your association? What are the real-world benefits? Let's dive into where Element AMS really excels. One of their biggest, boldest claims comes from a case study they did with the Infectious Diseases Society of America, and it all boils down to this one incredible number. That's right, over 10,000 renewals processed in less than 10 minutes. I mean, come on. If you've ever pulled your hair out watching that little progress bar crawl during renewal season, a number like that, it definitely makes you sit up and take notice. So you're probably asking, how on earth do they do that? Well, it's not some kind of magic trick. It's all about smart automation built right on Salesforce's native tool flow. Think of it like a perfectly synced four-step dance. First, renewal records get created automatically. Then, notifications zoom out. Payments get processed seamlessly, and finally, boom, membership status is updated in real time. The best part? It all happens without a single person having to lift a finger.
But it's not just about raw speed. A few other strings really speak to what they're all about. For one, their staff-based pricing model can be a huge win for associations that have tons of members, but a pretty small team. And because they're founder-led, they don't have venture capitalists bleeding down their necks. They say this lets them keep their development roadmap focused squarely on what their clients actually need. It all comes back to their core philosophy: keep it simple and make it scalable.
Okay, but let's be real here. No platform is a silver bullet, right? It's absolutely essential that we flip the coin over and talk about the limitations, the strategic trade-offs you're making, especially when you're considering a newer company.
And I want to be super clear about this. We're not talking about fatal flaws here. These are just trade-offs. They're things you have to carefully weigh against what your association specifically needs and, frankly, what your organizational culture can handle. This really brings us to a classic strategic crossroads. On one path, you've got an emerging innovator like Element. You're getting agility, you're getting fresh ideas, and yeah, probably a lower price tag. On the other path, you have the established players. Think Fonteva or Nimble AMS. With them, you're buying a proven track record, tons of validation from other users, but it usually comes with a higher cost. It's that age-old trade-off, right? Innovation versus security.
So let's get specific about those risks, because that's what's crucial here. As of right now, Element has a pretty small client base. You won't find a bunch of peer reviews on sites like G2 or Capterra to back things up. Some really key features, like a full-blown certifications module, are still on the coming soon list. And their implementation team, it's small, and they handle everything themselves. These aren't opinions, they're just facts you have to be totally comfortable with before you move forward.
Which brings us to what I think is the most important part of our chat today. These are the critical questions that you and your leadership team absolutely have to sit down and answer before you even think about signing a contract. First step, you've got to scrutinize their roadmap. Ask yourselves, how critical is it for us to have a feature like a full certification module right now? I mean, if that's a major source of revenue for you tomorrow, then waiting on a future update is a pretty big gamble. But if it's something that's part of your 2-year plan, well, then maybe waiting is totally fine. Now, think about the people you have to answer to. Your stakeholders, your board. Are they going to be okay with the risk that comes with a newer vendor? Or are they the type that needs to see the safety net? Tons of reviews, case studies, and years of documented ROI from other groups. Next, let's circle back to that pricing model. A staff-based license? It sounds fantastic if you've got a small team, right? But you've got to ask, does it really work with your budget and your plans for the future? I mean, what happens if you're planning to double your staff in the next 3 years? You need to run those numbers. And what about your own team's bandwidth? Look, partnering with a smaller, more agile company can be an amazing experience. But it can also mean it's more of an all-hands-on-deck situation, requiring more of your team's time. So, do you need a huge, established support system to fall back on? Or is your team ready and able to handle a more hands-on, collaborative partnership? And finally, let's just boil it all down to the core question. What is the real value in actual dollars of potential cost savings when you weigh it against the security and, let's face it, the peace of mind you get from a platform that's been around the block a few times? If you can answer those questions honestly, you'll be well on your way to figuring out if this is the right path for your unique situation. Because here's the truth, there's no such thing as this single best AMS out there. The right choice is the one that fits your organization like a glove, your structure, your growth plans, and the hard realities of your budget. In over 20 years of AMS consulting at SmartThoughts, I've seen it time and time again. The incredibly high cost of picking a platform for the wrong reasons. We're talking wasted time, wasted money, and a serious hit to team morale. A cool new product can be a game changer for one group and an absolute nightmare for another. The whole point of this is to help you move from feeling uncertain to feeling clear and confident. So, if this has sparked some important questions for you, let's get them answered together. Go ahead and book a free, no-pressure 20-minute consultation at smartthoughts.net. We can help you dig in and really assess if Element AMS, or any other platform for that matter, is the right fit for you. Let's make sure your next big tech decision is a great one.